Hello, right. This is a thing that you can try. Now, I don't know how to stress this enough. Only do this if you really, really need to and you understand the risks. This involves updating your motherboard BIOS. Now, I've noticed over the past couple of months when people have had problems with their graphics cards, not just the 5000s, but some of the other ones, I have asked if their motherboard BIOS is up to date. Because some people just buy the motherboard, use it, and that's it. But what you might find in the period, maybe 2-3 years of owning your motherboard, 4 years, whatever, there's maybe been a handful of BIOS updates to your motherboard, which either fix bugs, add new features, or just generally make the thing run better, or they actually, in some cases, it will actually upgrade the firmware so that the next generation of chip that comes out will work into your motherboard, sort of thing. Like this one came out when the 7000s for the Ryzen came out, and then it had a small, well, it's had a few updates for different reasons, but then it had an update for when the 8000s came out to make it more compatible. Then it had another update when the 9000s came out to make it more compatible, and so on. And if I hadn't done them, the chip that's in there now wouldn't work. So that's kind of how dramatic an effect a BIOS can have on your motherboard. It can also have an effect on your GPU. If your motherboard is not liking your GPU, there is a chance, if you haven't touched your BIOS since the day you got your motherboard, that's because you haven't updated your BIOS. Now, here's the downside. Good motherboards usually have either a button on them or an easy way of clearing what you call the CMOS. Some of them actually have a backup BIOS where you can actually switch it, so you can revert back to another one. Some of the cheaper ones and older ones don't have that, and if you update your BIOS and it stops, or you have a power outage, something goes wrong, you can literally end up with a motherboard that you're really having issues trying to get to work again. There is ways and means of doing it, but it means taking your PC apart, using these little connectors that you put in to try and clear it and stuff, and even then it's not guaranteed it's going to work. This is why on some of the manufacturing websites it literally says if your PC is working correct, your motherboard's okay, don't touch it, don't mess with it, because it can go wrong and you can be left with a PC not working because of it. But at the same time, if it needs the features or there is something about it, it can literally make it go from not great to great. So what you basically need to do is find out which motherboard that you have, the exact motherboard that you have, not a rough one, a rough idea, but it has to be the exact one. And you need to go to the manufacturer, their website, find it on there. They normally have a support page, and on there you'll have things like software, and it'll have BIOS. And it's a case of following the instructions, what it'll do for the BIOS. Some motherboards that you actually get will come with its own software where it can check your BIOS. I have the MSI ASMEG one. The software that comes with that, the MSI Center, when I do like in-depth check, it checks the BIOS, and if there's a new BIOS available, it literally says there's a new BIOS available. Do you want to install it? You've got two options. Now you can either do it through that software, where it will download it, pre-install it, you'll turn your PC off, turn it back on, and it will come up on the screen, BIOS install, and don't touch anything until it's finished. The other way is that you can actually download it onto a USB stick from the manufacturer's website, and then you put it into the USB, and then when you're booting up your PC, you go, when the splash screen comes on, you hit your delete, go into your motherboard BIOS, and then somewhere in your motherboard menus, you'll literally find a thing saying flash the BIOS, and you'll carry out what it says on there. So there's usually two ways of doing it. Again, I'm going to say it again. This can fix your problems, but it can also give you a whole world of hurt as well. I do update my BIOS, and in 25 years messing about with these silly things, I think it's went wrong twice. Once was a power outage, and luckily it was when I had one of the newer boards and I had a backup BIOS, and I was literally able to just press a button and I could get it to work again. And another one was early on in tinkering with PCs, and I was stuck without a PC for about 2 weeks until I actually found somebody that could help me. And this is back in, like, I think it was the early 2000s when finding help and understanding and stuff wasn't as easy. And none of my friends were into PCs and stuff. They were all, I mean, we all grew up on consoles, but I was the first one to kind of branch off and go off into the PC side of things. But yeah, it's just like the drivers for the video cards. Unfortunately, it's very much a Russian roulette. But again, it could very well be that the reason why you're having so many problems with your GPU is because you've never updated the BIOS on your motherboard. And again, I feel like they should literally hand out, pieces of paper with a waiver on that you've actually, yes, I watched all the video, I understand what could go wrong, and I'm not going to come back here and complain when it does go wrong. I'm just telling you that I've spoke to people that on these comments and stuff, that when I've mentioned things to do with the BIOS, they hadn't got a clue that there was such a thing and that they had to update it, and that updating it could fix their problems. It could also fix other problems that you have inside the PC as well. But again, and what you'll sometimes find is when it lists the BIOS, it'll literally list beside the BIOS what they've done to it, what improvements they've made. So you might actually get sometimes a bit of a clue in there as to what they've done and how it's helped. Anyway, so yeah, do it at your own risk and be prepared. It could either fix things or make things worse. Bye.